The US invasion of Vietnam officially began with the Gulf of Tonkin incident in August 1964, when two US destroyers, the USS Maddox and USS Turner Joy, were allegedly attacked by North Vietnamese patrol boats. This incident was used by the US as a reason to pass the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, allowing President Lyndon B. Johnson to expand the war in Vietnam without the formal consent of the US Congress. This was a major turning point in history, bringing the US into a conflict that lasted more than a decade and had profound effects on Vietnam as well as the world. In early 1965, the US began to deploy Operation Rolling Thunder, a large-scale bombing campaign targeting targets in North Vietnam. This was not only an effort to weaken the morale of the North Vietnamese government, but also a way for the US to send a strong message to other countries in the region about its determination to fight communism. At the same time, the US began sending troops to South Vietnam, and on March 8, 1965, the first US Marines officially landed in Da Nang, marking the US's full participation in the war. The early days of the war laid the foundation for the complex developments that followed, when the conflict not only took place on the battlefield, but also spread to the political and social fields. The US presence in Vietnam was met with strong opposition from many countries and anti-war movements in the US. This created great pressure on the US government, especially when the consequences of the war became increasingly clear. The conflict in Vietnam is not only a painful page in history for both Vietnamese and Americans, but also a lesson about military intervention and the consequences of political decisions.